What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cool Colas here, and you are now tuning into a new video on my channel. Man, oh man, oh man, for today's topic, we're going to be talking about y'all's boy Dr. Umar and how he was recently called out by his daughter, and she had a lot to say about how he is a deadbeat father. So let's get into it. I think I told y'all this before, but Dr. Umar is somebody who is a mixed bag for me. He's somebody who he says some things when it comes to Black empowerment that I can get behind, and some of his ideals were aligned there, but ultimately there is something that's amiss. There's a lot that's amiss, to be honest. He does a lot of plebiscite babbling. I don't like how he speaks down on reparations for foundational Black Americans. And then there's a lot of other fishy stuff, you know. Now, when it comes to this situation, recently he had some type of issue where his daughter, or biological daughter, allegedly made a social media post where she talked about how she's looking to try to find her sister. Umar has another child, and she has not been able to connect with this sister. And she's made attempts to reach out even to Dr. Umar himself in order for her to try to have some type of connection with her biological sister, and she has been ignored. And it seems from the video that she's to the point where she doesn't want to have any real relationship with him. She just wants to have a conversation so that she can find her sister and she can connect more so with her. So it's almost as if she's making the claim that he's too busy for her, and he has been giving her the runaround as far as them having a conversation or just talking further about family business and things related to that. So she made a video to talk about that on the internet. She also made a claim that, you know, she has no reason to do this for clout, and that she's doing this because she feels like this is her last resort to be able to do anything. No, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard her speak, my antennas went off, and I'm like, this is some fake shit. Like, she's definitely doing this for clout, even if she says that she's not, because I know that there are a lot of these shea butter sambas out here who love to get attention. So in my head, I'm like, this is just another cry for attention, because if you start talking about Dr. Umar and him doing something negative, then there's a level of sensationalism that kind of comes around it. And everybody was like, oh, I knew that he wasn't shit. I knew this, I knew that. So I knew that all that was going to come with it. And me personally, I know that, you know, women like that are not stupid enough to think about the fact that this could be a thing. They know how to stir things up. However, as more things started kind of unraveling and revealing themselves, it didn't seem as though Dr. Umar was denying that this was his daughter, based off of some of the things that I saw him say. If anything, the way that Dr. Umar is approaching this situation almost makes it seem like this young lady, by the way, I think her name is Nisa, is telling the truth. And again, I'm not directly confirming this because none of this was 100% confirmed, but just by his behavior, mannerisms, and the way he's kind of approaching the situation, I think that there's a lot of truth to what this young lady is saying, at least from the perspective of her being his daughter. And the reason why I say that too is because Umar didn't outright deny that this was not his daughter. And he still chose to address the situation publicly. He had a lot to say, as a matter of fact, about it. And one of the things that he said, and I quote, was, trying to build your streamer struggles off of my back, coming up out of nowhere, acting like you've been looking for me. Get Mama Smurf. I will have my white man paperwork. When can we do this sit down? Been paying child support since you came up out the womb. Deadbeat who? So the way that that's phrased almost makes it seem like he's trying to confirm that this was his daughter, or at least suggest that this is his daughter, because he's been paying child support and he's not a deadbeat as a result of it. So that's why I said that I get mixed signals on this whole thing, and it is a loaded issue. And it's clear, too, that he doesn't want to address more of it until, as he said, he has a sit down with her and the mama. In my personal opinion, if I had to guess, I believe that there's a situation where, one, this young lady is telling the truth. I also don't know how I feel about the mother being involved in this situation. This woman said that she is 22 years old publicly. That means she's an adult. So Umar doesn't even need to go through the mother to have a conversation with his daughter. He can literally reach out to her and then have that conversation. And I also want to be real too. It really should be Umar's responsibility to reach out as the father and as somebody who has damaged her, from not being present. And again, I'm not putting any blame on the mom. I don't know the whole situation. I don't know the whole story. I'm gonna be real. But at the same time, if it's a conversation between what's going on with him and her, he needs to reach out directly to her to have a conversation with her like she is asking. So that's why I say that there needs to be some initiative if that something like that is going to happen. So with Umar even saying the mom needs to be present and she needs to sit down with them, that's kind of disingenuous because she's an adult. So you can go directly to her, and you specifically should take the initiative to do so as her parent. And I get, again, that she's an adult, but you have a responsibility to do that as somebody who birthed and I guess didn't really take care of, but should have taken care of this woman. And also, too, who knows? He could have a toxic baby mama, and she could be somebody who, he didn't really want to be around. Because let's be real, there's a lot of dads who are not in their children's lives because of the fact that they have a toxic baby mama who they don't want to be around, and also, too, would create toxicity for the child as they raise them together or attempt to raise them together. So the guy basically runs off. I'm not excusing it, but I'm also putting these things also into perspective as well too, because it's a possibility. I don't know the mother. I don't know Umar's relationship with the mother, but all I do know is that this is something that typically happens. Another thing that I think a lot of these dads who do this have a habit of doing is they try to recreate a new life, and they forget about the old one that they created with, their baby's moms and then that child as a result. So a lot of times they'll try to almost reinvent themselves, and they try to become this different person than the way that family knows them, because it's a way that they can kind of remove themselves from the situation. And then by the time that child becomes an adult, they can say, well, they're an adult, so I don't really have any responsibility to do A, B, C, and D. So a lot of fathers who don't take care of their kids, and what I mean by don't take care of is either totally not present, not mentally and emotionally present, or you're like a glorified guest, like those types of situations. That's improper fatherhood. And that means that you're somebody who most people would probably consider a deadbeat at that point. And I want to be clear, I'm not all for this whole idea of just beating down on just black men for the fact that they're not involved in their child's life. But I do want to say that Umar is taking a very interesting take in this situation, because even with him saying something to the effect of, I think that you're trying to bounce off of my whole shtick, and you're trying to create your own streaming success off of me. I think that that's kind of an ugly thing to say if this is his daughter, because the reality is that if that's something that she wanted to do and she is your daughter, then you should do everything in your power to help her achieve her success. And also too, that's quite an interesting comment to make for somebody who clearly feels that they are not really connected with their father. Almost as if she's just some bitch off the street who is trying to basically get over on you, who you don't know, like some type of stray that you don't want to have shit to do with. So I think that it's a little ugly to do some shit like that. But again, I don't really know the whole situation, but if the situation is that that's his daughter, then I don't rock with him making that type of comment. That's not something that I would co-sign. That's something that I don't think is cool. If that's your daughter, you need to reach out, be a man, and then have a conversation, with her about whatever it is that she's asking to connect with you on. I think a lot of people are seeing this too, and there's a lot of hype that's being created off of it because a lot of people are already kind of watching Umar's world become unglued because people are talking about the whole school thing and how that's not built already. And then, he's had like some stuff to say about reparations, which was some bullshit. And then he's done a few other things that people really don't rock with. So now this situation just adds fuel to the fire. It's like seeing this ice cream cone that you got and it just melts and you're trying to take your hands and you're trying to just put that bitch back together. That's kind of what they're really doing with this whole Umar thing. It's like they're seeing him fall apart, and it's like this is just another piece to that issue. So I think that that's also going on as well. So a lot of people already are not really feeling Umar. So his lifestyle is making him look extremely hypocritical. It makes him look like, as a lot of people say, a scammer. A lot of people feel like, with him doing all the stuff that he's doing, it's one of those things where, he's showing that he doesn't really live the life that he's saying that he lives when it comes to Pan-Africanism. In other words, he goes around taking pictures with all these different sisters and stuff like that, being hugged up and giving them kisses and all this other shit, and basically trying to get him some buns, and talks about how they're all black queens, but then he doesn't treat his daughter like a black queen. So I think that that's part of the problem with him. Really, this is something that he shouldn't even really be putting out on social media. I get that she, put her stuff out there and she made it public and whatnot. But if he wanted to respond, this is something that he should have done privately. He shouldn't go and just tell people that, this is somebody who could be trying to bounce off of, his success and, I want the mama to be involved and all that. He doesn't have to do all that shit. He doesn't have to get that level of defensive. All he has to sit there and do is go and respond to her privately and have a private conversation and take that shit off the internet. That's what I mean by the initiative and the leadership and all this other stuff. If you're the father, truly the father in this relationship, then you need to go and then you need to handle it like a man. Handle it in private. Don't let other people on the internet into your affairs, because all of us are talking about things and we really don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. But Umar is not making it any better by also responding to it and doing this kind of back and forth type of thing. And you can also see too that this woman is very damaged, and I'm not necessarily blaming Umar for all of this, but what I'm saying is that his presence probably could add some help to the issue in the situation, because there was even a video going around where her and her sister were screaming back and forth, and it almost seemed like there's some emotional distress and other issues. I'm not a therapist. So I ain't trying to say she has some clinical problems and psychotic. I don't want to say all that stuff about her, but I can tell that something mentally is off. There's like an emotional disconnect between her and her sister. Like something there is not right. And I think that the presence of her father could maybe help, or maybe could have helped regulate some of that stuff and get some of that stuff together. And obviously there's work that she would have to do for herself, right? But at the same time, I think that his presence is necessary, and without his presence, that leaves room for a mother, especially if she was a toxic mother, to be able to teach her daughter to behave in the same way that she behaved as well too. So I think that it's all just a bad do, y'all. I'm really not feeling the whole situation, and quite frankly, I hope that there's some resolution, because this is some shit that really shouldn't be discussed like this over the internet. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and I'll definitely have more to come. So make sure you stay tuned. In the meantime, I would love it if you liked, subscribed, shared, and hit the bell icon so you get notifications for whenever I come out with new content on this channel. Other than that, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.